Oh, hello, folks. This is Ken David Stewart. I'm back with you again. It's a Sunday morning. I'm trying to get my wave pad working here. Didn't work too good the first time. Now it says it's recording. Thank you. Well, once again, this is Ken David Stewart. And for lack of a name, unless anyone else comes up with a better name for this podcast, I'm just going to have to call it the Ken David Stewart Show. Why? Because it covers a lot of topics. So, if I name it one thing, I might only speak on that topic every 3 weeks. See what I'm getting at? Okay, today's, I think this is going to end up being a series. It's called My Struggle with Christians and the Church. Now, I would say this would probably be good for those who are searching, those who are present believers, those who are believers who are not happy in their church or not happy with their faith, for Satanists, atheists, you name it. You're going to get something out of it. Somebody will or wouldn't be doing this. Okay, let me start off. I got saved when I was 27 years old. The only reason that I repeated the prayer of salvation was that I wanted fire insurance. Translation, I did not want to go to hell. Following my salvation experience, my walk with the Lord has been a little problematic. In my case, I cannot honestly say that it has been a walk. It can more accurately be described as a stumble, with many returns to my pre-Christian way of life and thinking. During my life, I have fallen into depths of despair and spiritual darkness. At times in my life, I felt like I've been submerged in the pits of hell. I've often struggled with affection towards my fellow man, whether believer or non-believer. I admit that on numerous occasions I've had a pretty strong distaste for people. Whatever their religious or non-religious stripe. I've attended many churches, but this was often due to the influence of my wife Martha, who was a very spiritual Christian woman. Over my life, I had an especially difficult time with the Bible, church, and other Christians. All three of these actually have failed to meet my expectations many, many times. There have been long periods of time when I have adamantly refused to attend church services or Christian events. I have selfishly disregarded the pain, disappointment, and frustration this has caused my wife. In a very cavalier manner, I thought that I could not tolerate the hypocrisy demonstrated by my fellow believers in the church. As I am blessed to have a great deal of insight about myself, I also fully recognize that I am a hypocrite myself. I thought that by avoiding contact with the church and other Christians, I was at the very least saving God's kingdom from one more hypocrite, namely myself. There were times that I was physically and emotionally too impaired to attend church, and on these occasions I may have had some excuse. I have had very mixed feelings about the First Baptist Church I attended after my salvation at 27. I respected and appreciated the zeal and moral integrity of my first pastor. He used to visit our home quite frequently. This Baptist pastor and I had some very serious discussions about the Christian life and the Bible. The pastor and I also had many disagreements and heated arguments. At that time, I was employed at a job that I detested and was suffering with extreme issues of low self-esteem. I told my pastor that I wanted to quit my job for my own health and sanity. The pastor sternly rebuked me for wanting to take away the financial security and economic welfare of my wife and family. I was very hurt by this rebuke. When I first joined the Baptist Church, I rather quickly was drafted into the role of being a leader in the 20% of any congregation that actually gets any work done for the church. And this applies not just to church, to any organization, secular or Christian. 20% of the people do 80% of the work. And I was the type of guy who would take charge and get things done, and I still am. In this capacity, I attended weekly Bible studies, served as an advisor to the Sunday school faculty, and went out on local missionary drives. I was respected as both a student and a teacher. My pastor respected my intellectual abilities and my sincere desire to play a significant role in the growth of the church. Unfortunately, my honeymoon period with the Baptist Church did not last very long. My personal lifestyle and attitudes had shown very little, if any, change after I became a Christian. I continued to smoke tobacco, drink alcohol, and listen to my favorite band, the Rolling Stones. There were other issues as well. My family and I lived in a mobile home. We seemed to constantly be having problems with our plumbing, our furnace, appliances, you name it. As I had absolutely zero aptitude for any skill set beyond the intellectual and educational, a small team of church people, whether volunteered or appointed, they came over to give me some handyman assistance on a few occasions. I was not in the financial position to hire any professionals to repair my home. After a while, one of my church helpers informed me that from now on I should learn how to do my household repairs on my own. This was well before the days of YouTube videos when you could look up how to do stuff. So therefore, these skills were very difficult to learn. I started to be infested maybe by a strong spirit of resentment towards my fellow Christians at my first Baptist church. Okay, that's all I wrote so far today. I'm going to keep it simple and straight, and if any people want me to pray for them specifically, just email me if you have any questions, comments, you think I'm a jerk, whatever, let me know. And I'm just going to sign off now. And this afternoon, I'm going to watch some NFL football. I think Oakland Raiders are playing the Vikings at 1, unless I read the schedule wrong. And my New York Giants are playing Tampa Bay. So I want to see both those games. Okay, signing in and out. This is Ken David Stewart. And just have yourself an awesome day.